Welcome back, everyone. It's the TFG Tuesday podcast. And as always, we are joined by the 2023 All-Australian skipper, Toby Green, live. Tobes, there's plenty to talk about this week, as there always is. That's what I love about this podcast. Let's just start with Tom Green's response. It went viral, that clip last week. Tom Green washing his undies in the kettle when he didn't want to just go in the shower and have a hot wash like the cricketers did. I think Triple M even had it on and they were disgusted with what they heard. Tell me there's been a bit of banter in the locker room.
Yeah, he was actually flat. Like, he was genuinely disappointed with my comment. It got reported on Channel 7 as well, I think. There was an article saying Giants player washes undies in kettle. So he actually wasn't happy about that. Complained to some people at the club about it. It was almost bullying. But we move on and, you know, he just has to be better in that situation, and this sort of thing won't happen.
There was a couple of people, I think, on TikTok that said that's normal, play on, because we did put the poll out there. I've got the poll in front of me, but, mate, while I get up some funny comments, can you just tell me who was getting into him at the club? Like, when you rolled in the next day, just give everyone a little bit of an insight into what the locker room was like.
Oh, he came straight up to me and he said that is disgraceful from you. So he wasn't too happy, but I said, mate, well, you shouldn't have argued for it. No, I mean, pretty much everyone thinks it's not right. So he did sort of get the message across, and I don't think he'll do it again. His hotel room will be safe to have a cup of tea from now on.
Mate, his comment, this is weak as piss. A few people saying that is puke. You've got Kano here saying grim. Someone said I'm never having a tea on a plane or in a hotel ever again. So he's turned a lot of people off tea bags, Tommy Green. I'll give you the tip. Better ring the hotel and tell them to throw the kettle away. There's a lot of people not happy with Tom Green.
Yeah, it'd be good to do a deep dive into it and see what sort of happens. You know, how many people in the world do this sort of stuff. I can't imagine it's a big number.
I heard our man, I'm going to give him a little wrap up here because Cursor was in the comments, but Desired Films is Desired Rap Films, I should say, is a big fan of your work, and they have been commenting on our YouTube page since the start, and they have been sending Cursor all these videos. So I just wanted to give Desired Rap Films a little bit of a shout out because I feel like they've been the connector to your man Cursor, and that's why he's been getting around you.
Yeah, I appreciate that because he has been getting around me. We were speaking last week. I think we're going to get into a Giants game in the not too distant future, which will be huge.
That is big. That is big. Now, there's plenty of football to talk about. Should we talk about the heartbreaking profit propeller going down? I mean, I feel bad bringing up his name, so I won't even mention it. I'll just take full.
Tell us, mate, because I didn't see that last game of footy. Who'd you have?
Oh, I've had the big fog. We've had him back to back, and he's one of the best players in the competition, and I thought he'll kick three against the Swans. They're really struggling, the Swannies.
Well, you were half right.
Oh, I was. He even got a cherry. You know when someone gets a free kick? I think the big Texan got a free kick and he got the advantage and kicked it in the goal square. I said, this has got to be us. And then last night, obviously I don't get punished unless all legs get ticked, and Stengel was the last one. He needed two. And he kicked it in the last quarter. So I've got to get a punishment, mate. And so as well. What would you think my punishment should be? I cost the football club $20,000.
Oh, that's a big whack. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you and Wild have a little 400-metre.
It's a bit
lose it, does something.
Oh, I think we're both getting punished. It's just a matter of what we do. I think we might have to do it at the same time. I thought about just tossing some snags down there at Thursday night selection. I can't really play. I'll do an Achilles or something. So, but yeah, there's a lot of handouts. We've got to wear a full kit down at Coles and hand out our flyers to our podcast in the fog kit each. I think that might be the go. But anyway, mate, heartbreaking stuff yesterday. It's been a tough weekend. Talking of a tough weekend, let's just dive straight in for everyone out there that wants to hear about what's been happening. Start with the game, and then we'll talk about Wardy. What happened at the start? Our man Jevy's going to join the program shortly. He said it's belt to ass, just belt to ass. Well, it certainly was, but it was the Tigers giving it to the Giants until three-quarter time. Talk me through, is it the Tigers, have they just got a really good brand of footy, high pressure, or were you guys just way off?
They were pretty sharp. We didn't play the way we wanted to play. And the first quarter, we got a huge lesson. They sort of won the ball from contest, got it forward, and then kicked goals from contest as well, and outnumbered us work rate. and we were a lot cleaner and sharper, and we're down by 5 goals about quarter time. So, and it sort of stayed like that for the next 2 quarters. So, like, we didn't go into the game thinking it was by any stretch going to be an easy game. They've been in some decent form and played some good footy against good teams, but they certainly gave us a lesson, mostly around contests. So there was a bit to work on post game, but we showed what we could do when we put them under pressure and played it in our half. And that last quarter, you could see sort of their fatigue, and they were struggling a bit to move the ball. So we were able to get on top in that sense, and then capitalise going forward. But yeah, we certainly made it hard for ourselves, mate. And Tigers were probably a better team for most of the day, but we'll take the win because they're bloody important now.
Yeah, mate. At the end of the year, you just need the 4 points. They are going really well. I think everyone owes the Richmond Footy Club an apology at the start of the year. People said they wouldn't win a game. They are looking very dangerous in the next 3-4 years when all their young players start coming of age. Let's talk about the midfield for the Tigers. Half of that midfield is ex-Giants. Did you have a little bit of a laugh with Hops, with obviously Timmy? Even the Meatball was back, and his return was enormous. Big shout out to the Meatball. Good to see him back. Did you have a little run-in with any of them boys?
Nah, I saw Tim down in Coogee before the game, but no, not really during the game. But all those boys were, they were three of the better players on the ground. They were good. They really got the game going for them. So, we learned our lesson from that. As I said, we were able to sort of really get going in the last quarter. But no, those boys were pretty sharp on the night, and Big Meatball came back and went whack.
Didn't he ever? The Meatball, he just reminded everyone of how good he really is. Let's talk about the moment that just breaks hearts. He's one of the nicest, best blokes, hardest working. He's the face of the club. He's done it all, really. Wardy goes down with the worst injury in sport. What does that do to the group in that moment for people listening and watching?
We sort of spoke about that in the leadership meeting this morning, but to be honest, I don't know how much it does it. Like when it first happened, I didn't actually know. I saw the replay and I thought it was when he in the marking contest and he might have just jarred his knee. I didn't see that it was after that when you traditionally how you do your ACL. But then I saw halfway through the third that when him and the Withers were on the bench and he had tears and he would obviously known what had happened. So certainly a bit flat then, but. No, I don't think it does affect the game too much. To be like maybe some individuals, but as I said, I didn't really know until halfway through the third. So it was one of the worst post games you could be a part of. It's just super flat and numb feeling in the change rooms, and everyone was just shattered for Wardy, and what he means to everyone. It's the worst possible potentially way to go out. Wait and see what happens, but it was devastating.
What did he say to you at 3/4 time? For him to put the game in front of his own feelings, it's just kind of exactly what he's done his whole career, just put everyone in front of him and lead by example. What was said exactly?
Most of the messaging was just about being reliable and being a good teammate and, looking after each other. Exactly what he does every week for his whole career, and, have a crack at winning this game of footy because, we couldn't have. It couldn't have been going much worse than what it was at 3/4 time. So that was pretty much the basis of the message, and it must have struck a chord because you would have seen the boys were pretty fiercely focused after that, and it would have been super hard for Wardy to deliver that message as well, knowing what he was going through. So he's one of the great men in footy, and as you know, mate, he's been sort of built with the Giants from the ground up.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, mate. There's no other way of putting it. I want to just talk about you as the skipper. Did you orchestrate Wardy to talk to the group, or did he tap you and say, "Mate, I want to say something"? Like, how did that go about?
No, he just did it. No, he wouldn't have to ask anyway. No, he just took it upon himself and went from there.
That's incredible, isn't it? Like for him just to recognise the moment. You boys were clearly flat, and just to fire him up. Like, what was the comeback? 20. I think you were down 28 points and just turned it around. And to Richmond's credit, they almost, they really fought hard for that last couple of kicks. They didn't really let you get in front for a bit. It's incredible from Wardy, and geez, it was unbelievable to watch. I remember watching it going, this is crazy. Talk to me about halftime though. Like, did everyone know at halftime? The reason I'm asking these questions is because it's a very rare incident, and when it happens, we've all been around moments where everyone's flat, but you've also got responsibility to get off your ass and go win the game. So, what was kind of what was going on at halftime? Because surely everyone would have kind of known by then.
Well, I don't think they did. Like, I was probably a bit naive, and I probably didn't want to ask either. Like, you're sitting with the forwards, you're talking about how the game's sort of shaping. I imagine the mids would have had a much better idea, and Wardy would have been sitting with them. I hadn't seen any replays or anything at that stage either, and I hadn't asked Wardy. I didn't really want to ask him till after the game anyway. Mostly because I didn't want him to sort of have to revisit it. And because he did know straight away, he knew that he's done one before, and he said it was exactly the same. So he knew. So that was probably my thinking. But as I said, like, we didn't touch on it at halftime as a team. So that was about it. It wasn't until literally I saw that replay on the big screen, and then 3/4 time you could sort of sense it in his voice, and I had a greater understanding of what had happened.
There you go. That's just crazy, and that's good insight for everyone listening and watching on what actually happens in the sheds at halftime in your line group. Someone like that you still don't know till 3/4 time. You mentioned just before it was one of the worst post match you've ever been in. You've been in a lot. Early days, grand finals, but that's the worst. That's the worst one.
I was just numb. Like, you wouldn't have known we won a game of footy. Not that we, potentially didn't win it in the right manner. We would have liked to play a bit better than what we did, but no one really cared. Everyone was just so flat for. We didn't speak about the game or anything. Everyone was just flat for Wardy, and because he means so much to the footy club, and he was flying straight to Melbourne as well. So we couldn't really get around him that night or anything like that. So he just got the scans today, and he'll get surgery down there. So he'll be down there for a bit.
We'll have to get around him. It's mate. Well, appreciate that. As I said, the insights. But yeah, Wardy, if you're listening or watching, mate, we love you. It is as deflating as you will see in anything. In any sport, seeing someone go down like that, and hoping to have his last year as a premiership medalist. But we crack on, mate. There's even more inspiration now for the boys to fire up and get it done for him. This is where we've discussed this before, but players that aren't there on grand final day, I know I'm going ahead here, but it's like that's why you are a big believer that everyone should get a medal, because not everyone can play, but they do throughout the year. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've thought that for the last few years. I don't exactly know what you do, but if you played one game throughout the year, then I reckon you do have the right to a medal, and it's pretty much like that in every sport around the world except the ones in Australia. So it makes sense as well. You don't win it on the day. It takes 40 blokes to get you there and put yourself in a good position. The 22, 23 that are lucky enough to be there, but there's 10 guys that have played a huge role throughout the year in winning your games as well that I think deserve a medal as much as anyone.
Yeah, you're spot on. I think it's exactly right. We're interested to see what our man Jevy thinks about that later on. He'll be joining the program. Well, mate, I appreciate your thoughts on that. You take the win, though. You take the win. Tigers are going really well. Just on the Tigers, were you really impressed? You've seen them up close now, but they've got a lot of young kids out there that are going to be around for the next 10, 15 years. You must be impressed by what they've done with their recruiting.
Sort of their old Tigers, back in had a lot of young, sharp, small forwards, wings, halfbacks, really quick, really nippy. Play at speed. I really noticed that they had, could really match it with us in that area as well. So and then as I said, their midfield had a really good game, and so they were sharp. They were sharp, and and then they've got, I don't know how many kids from that draft crop they had played on the weekend, but they've obviously got some good kids coming through, and the number one pick didn't play. So lots of talent floating around for sure.
There you go. Our man Jimmy O'Rourke could be very happy with his work down there, wouldn't he?
He would be, mate. He would be sitting in the president's function nice and happy.
Speaking of the president's function, I heard this man had a few functions on the weekend. I think it's time to introduce our man Jevy back to the program. He was on fire last week, the number one rated podcast we've had all year last year for the TFG podcast. That's the TFG Tuesday podcast. Jevy, welcome back to the program, mate.
I'm sure Tobes can't believe I've got a second week as well, but I'm here. I've just listened to the last 10 minutes. It's hearing you talk about the Cal Ward and the game and everything and just the premiership medal stuff. It was good stuff.
Jevy, I'll start off the top. You and Tobes are going to answer this. I'm going to get with Jevy. You're going to start. Toby's going to go second. But I saw today, whether it was the GM or the CEO or even players, but there was a comment from an Adelaide player saying they were a rabble, talking about your team, Sydney. And then there was an apology the next day. Are we getting a bit soft in football? What's your thoughts on that?
As soft as butter. We were an absolute rabble on the weekend. Well, he said nothing wrong. Like, he's just saying what he could see we were a rabble out in the field. So I didn't have a problem with it at all.
Tobes, your take on that? I think it was Jack Rewalt. I'm going to quote that because I definitely saw it saying, I think he said it was disrespectful for a player to mention that. Isn't that what we want players to do? Open up about, the game and what they were seeing and hearing, or do you think it was disrespectful?
No, well, I think within the media, that's certainly what you want players to be talking about. But I don't think Wayne Malira is that type of character either. I think he's very reserved and he wouldn't knowingly trying to disrespect someone. So I reckon I don't think the apology was needed at all. So it is what it is. But I don't think either club will really care too much. It's not that big a talking point.
Speaking of apologies, Tom Green's just messaged me saying, "Get me on the podcast. Sorry, mate, I just finished up on the massage table. Do you want me to film my response, or do you want to send me the link and I'll pop in?" I think we might get Tommy Green on after Jevy finishes up later on. I think we might get Tom Green joining us. Talking about soft, I think he's got a response and he wants you to apologise to him, I think. Let's revisit the umpire rule, Jevy. You saw last week on the podcast, Toby said, throw the ball up, don't wait for the ruckman. I watched it closely on the weekend and it's certainly, once you zone in, they do wait for the ruckman in forward 50 stoppages. What's your thoughts on it, Jev? And then Tobes, I want to go back to yours and see if you had any words to the umps.
No, it was a great call. I see BT losing his mind about it all the time as well. Just keep the game going, throw it up. Tobes is playing, and if he wants it going, I'm in.
Love it. Toby?
Well, it's not my place to say anything to the umpires about ball up quicker, but I think they'll have a good look. I reckon they'll have a good look at it at the end of the year. And, you just 1 to 2 seconds max, and then whoever's closest nominates. If no one nominates, you can't contest.
You ever say anything under your breath, Tobes, like just fucking hurry up, just throw it up, or you stay calm?
Well, no, but every second that goes by, there's another 4 blokes around the forward 50 stoppage, so I start to get a bit frustrated. That's why I want it balled up quickly.
Yeah, I can see why, because, it's tough to get up. And Wardy, mate, geez, he's a good defender. Let's talk about snapping the ball versus a drop punt. Toby, you start us off. You're one of the best forwards in the competition. I don't think I see you snap the ball when you're right in front. We're talking 15 metres out. Got no issues with it if you practice it, but I also feel like a drop punt is easier. I'm seeing a lot of blokes go around the body. What's your thoughts just on a drop punt versus a snap when you're about 25 out or 20 out on a slight angle?
Oh, I think it's just up to the individual and how much you practice it. Certainly if you want distance, the snaps become a little bit more irrelevant. So, you got to practice your drop punts. But, anything from left of the goal square, 15 out, I'll probably snap, but on left or right foot. But once you get a bit further out, I'll certainly, I'll drop punt. One, there's a bit less room for error and back my routine. But I think it's just up to the individual, and some players are better. It's like, Jez's left foot snaps are as good as you'll ever see, so he could snap it from just about anywhere. But everyone's different.
It's more the opposite foot as well. I don't know. I'm not going to name players, but it's like they're lining up on their opposite foot. I'm thinking, what are you doing? I don't understand it. Jevy, what's your thoughts as a full-blown footy expert?
I was never, ever good enough to just go near a snap for goals. Just drop punt for me. But, geez, the players are skillful these days. I heard you talking to Jack Higgins. He kicks 100 snaps a day, both feet. I watch Isaac Heaney kick left foot snaps all the time for goals. So if you're good at it and it goes through, it is what it is. You got to kick goals.
I agree. Now, Jev, I'm going to let you take over. This is your segment, your time to shine. I've got a person in the lobby, and his name has the same last name as the man that joins us, and he wants to respond after some unbelievable calls around these jocks in the kettle. It's going to be exciting stuff. So you own this segment, mate. Take it away, and I'm going to tee up our special guest off the back of it. Go on.
Well, I got to start with the Tigers. So it's Swans Tigers on the MCG this week. I'm that nervous. Are the Tigers really good, Tobes? Like, they're going to get the Swans this week, aren't they?
They were sharp on the weekend. Like, they gave us a good lesson for, first half of footy, and got a lot of young kids with a lot of speed, and they were able to hurt us at contest as well. So, but no doubt it's going to be a tough game for the Swans going down there, and they'll be looking to respond as well. But Swans will be down on form and got a few injuries, so it'd be interesting game. When is it?
Saturday, 1:20 MCG. I'm terrified.
Yeah,
they'll get us. They will get us. So Port Adelaide this week. You've got Port Adelaide at NG Stadium at home. It's 2 home games in a row, Tobes. You must feel like you're playing for Collingwood or something at this point. Sleeping in your own bed for over 20 days in a row. It must be nice.
Yeah, we're at Manuka this weekend, though. We're at Manuka, so it is a home game, but we get the bus back after the game, straight after. But no, it's good. It's good. You get the second half of the year, we get a bit more routine back after that round 5 to 10 is a bit of a hard patch for us. But yeah, we just need to keep banking wins, mate. And Port have been a little bit like us, been really good and sometimes down. So we just got a good job to do, and we got 3 games before the bye against 3 good teams. So big 3 weeks for us coming up.
So you've won your last 2 as a team against Port Adelaide. You kicked 1 goal 5 against them last year. What comes to your mind when you think of Port Adelaide?
I think I remember that now, actually. Yeah, I missed some easy ones. Their midfield's pretty electric. I love Zach Butters. And then Connor Rosie's having a really good year off half back. So, those two are obviously their 2 most important players. And then they got a lot of talent around that. But and they've been competing in finals for the last few years. So they know what it takes. Horn Francis has got a hammy at the moment. I'm not sure if he's going to be back, but those 3 are obviously they're 3 prime movers and 3 of the better players in the comp that we'll need to work on and then go from there.
Who do you usually get? Who comes to you for Port Adelaide?
Had Brian Burton a lot in the past, but then Miles Bergman, he's really good. He's been playing a bit of everywhere this year, a little bit more midfield, but I rate him really highly. So him, Burton, they're probably the 2. They're the usual 2.
You're saying how much you like Zach Butters. Do you and him ever have a chat on the field about how many investment properties the 2 of you could have if you didn't get fined so much?
We've never talked about it, but I look forward to having a beer with him one day. He seems like a good man, and I'm sure we'd get along all right. But I do love watching him play, and he'll overtake me, mate. He's got another 10 years to go, so he'll get me for sure.
All right, we're gonna go the blind rankings again. I'm gonna give you the 3 best goals on the weekend, and you're gonna blind rank them from 1 to 3. So we'll start with Sam Flanders off the ground, finishing the wet to get the Suns back within a kick.
He's in my super coach 2.
Josh Rochelli's through ball to Ben Keys, and Keys just ran through and finished it off. That was so classy.
Yeah, that was one. That was good. I've always wanted to do that, actually. I've always thought about doing something like that, and that was unbelievable.
And then the last one was Nate Caddy's over the head finish on Thursday night.
Yeah, well, it's getting a lot of airtime, and I did something similar 10 years ago that just got absolutely given nothing. So
I've got that. You kicked a similar one over your head against the Suns. Whose was better, yours or Nate's?
Well, mine was 15 out. His was 7. And I shrugged the Brownlow medalist, so I think it was mine. Oh, no, you're thinking the Suns one. I did one against Geelong 10 years ago. It was even better.
Exactly. Yeah. What are we going? So I've got a couple of off-field questions. Do the Giants do fines like local footy clubs do on a Thursday night? Do you guys do fines?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Best fine you ever heard our man Tommy Sheridan get? Did he ever get a ripper fine at GWS at his time there? Tommy, you ever
I
get a
think
good
he was-
one there?
I think I heard some of his stories at Freo though. I think he was pretty. He sort of used to run that sort of section.
You were the fines man, Tommy.
Oh, yeah. Used to run the Trains Treasures little comedy segment, and then I did that once or twice at the Giants, but I held back the first year because I just said I got to get a game before I can play a full game before I can get that. And then I realised, well, that's not going to happen, so I'll just run the comedy segment in Noosa. But that's about it. Now, no fines. I don't think we did fines at Freo. They were a bit strict on the old fines.
As a regular Toby Green Tuesday listener, there's a few stories that got brushed over way too quickly. Heard you say Reece Palmer put on an all-time performance at a footy trip in Brazil. What are your top 3 footy trip destinations you've been on, Tobes?
I wasn't a footy trip. We were just on a South America holiday. But Rio in Brazil, that was unbelievable. Cambodia, be a good one for footy trip. Not many rules there. It's good. Lots to do. Plenty going on.
Who are the top 3 footy trip performers you want with you?
Yeah, Reece would be
Who's your
one.
Rushmore?
My Rushmore will be Reece Palmer. Sam Reid's good. Trying to think of a bit younger days. Sam Reid and Jacob Townsend's good value.
I love that. And our man Tommy, you ever go on a footy trip with the Giants, Tommy, or you have a good footy trip performance?
No, we never really did footy trips, did we, Toes? We've had me and Toby went to Cancun back in 2014, 13.
Yeah,
that was a good
early.
trip. That was a professional trip, that one. That was early days, but yeah, that's about it, chefs. What was that place where it was all you can eat? It was the 7 days in Cancun and 3 in Playa del Carmen.
We shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, that was.
We shouldn't have stayed at the all-inclusive. That didn't suit
the
us.
all-inclusive, Jevy. Yeah, when you're a young fella and you get the all-inclusive, I tell you what, the Kahlua and milk was going down like I used to have in Nutrigrain as 14-year-old every morning. We had about 15 Kahlua and milks around the pool every day. It was sickening.
You're talking Brazil, Cancun, New York. Us local blokes, we go to Bendigo for $5 double blacks or cans with 45 other footy trips.
Mate, Dunkeld Racing, they do Dunkeld Racing, Dunkeld Cup. That's one of the best country race days you'll ever go to. I highly recommend that.
I did hear that. I did hear that.
Jevy, I've got an issue here. We have to boot you to get Tom Green on the line. He's on the line.
Mate,
He's parked. So you're going to come back in a second.
Wait.
Just stay there. You won't hear what happened, but I'll give you the review. But Tom Green's coming in hot now, so just come back to us. Quick break, everyone. Jevy will be back in a second with more heat. But we have Tom Green on the line. Jeez, he looks hot. He's come straight off the massage table. Now, Greener, we've just had a little bit of a review. Jevy's on hold. We thought we'd get you straight in here. The professionalism at 6 o'clock. You've had your third rub down. That's what happens when you're a weapon. But you are filthy about these jocks and the kettle. Just give us your response.
Yeah, absolutely dirty on it. Thanks for having me back on to clear my name as well, Shez. I appreciate it, mate. It's actually a story. It's just an incredibly low act from Toby, like realistically. And we know he's well renowned for his low acts, and this might be the lowest. It's actually a story that's come from our media department, Tilly, who works there. She apparently, I don't want to throw her mum under the bus, but I think it's her mum maybe got told Tilly about this was something that she's heard about that apparently air hostesses do when they travel. So I was telling the boys about it, and Toby's decided he can just run with that and come up with a little bit of a story. And if you actually want to go, not to shamelessly plug in the green room, but if you go back and listen a few episodes ago, we actually addressed it. Jacob and I both said it was disgraceful. So, yeah, Toby's just decided he could cause a little bit of a storm. But I've actually come after he obviously has, slandered me and dragged my name through the dirt. I thought I'd do a little bit of digging myself. And I've actually got some authentic dirt on Tubbs that I thought I'd like to bring to light. And there's also video evidence that I might have to send through of this. This is come from a very, very reliable source.
I know what this is going to be.
One of Toby's disgusting habits is that he really enjoys his dog. His dog Oreo, beautiful Oreo. We love Oreo. He's a good dog, a great Dalmatian. Toby likes to, of an evening, sit on the couch and pick Oreo's ears out for him, clean his ears out with his own fingers, and smell the wax.
Oh,
And apparently it's delicious.
is that true, Tobes?
I don't eat it. I just clean it out for him.
Apparently he enjoys the scent as well.
No.
So
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's not bad.
I think that's a pretty horrific setup that he's run. If we were going to talk about my stuff being putrid, that's proper puke.
Greener, that is outstanding work. So you're saying that Toby's just put your name on a story that you've brought to the green room.
No, that's exactly what's happened, Tommy. He thought he dragged.
You must have explained that differently on the bus, so that's not what I understood.
Yeah, he can say whatever he likes, but it was just another Toby Green low act, and I thought if he's going to go like that, it's time to do a little bit of digging.
Oh, Greener, I'm glad you're on the potty because we had 80,000 people view this clip, 2,146 responses, and most of them saying, Tom Green, that is pooch. And they were saying that that's a disgrace. I said 85% voted it a clanger. And 15% actually said play on. So there's 15% of the community that actually think that's a play on.
Yeah, well, we know who's actually doing that sort of stuff then, and I couldn't disagree more that it's definitely not play on. That's not me. I don't align myself with that sort of stuff.
Oh, mate, that is brilliant. Well, you know what? Maybe we're just talking fines with Jevy. He's going to jump back on when you jump off, but I'm loving this. You just bring a little bit of dirt to the show. We don't have much on Toby. He's a bit of a clean skin the last few years. He doesn't get up to much. He's very at home, ice bath, sauna, look after the baby girl, pat the dog, pick the earwax. You don't get much dirt these days.
Yeah, well, it's either that or he's better at covering his tracks. And so I thought it's time to do some digging, time to do a little bit of research, and look what you find.
There you go. Well, Greener, that is outstanding from you. I appreciate you jumping on the TFG Tuesday podcast. Mate, great work on the weekend. We're just talking about great response in that last quarter. You did it for Wardy, and we're all heartbroken with what happened there. So keep dominating and keep up the good work, mate. And we'll get you back on as a regular with Jevy, I think. This is starting to just create a new segment that we said would unfold halfway through the year. It is getting cold. We need new material, and this is exactly what we want. So thanks for joining us, mate.
No problem, boys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, boy, Jevy, you're back. Welcome back to the TFG Tuesday podcast. You just missed a lot there. There's a bit there. Ask Toby what just happened.
Yeah, how did this go?
No, he just tried to defend himself, and he made a couple of valid points, but I still not sure he's telling the truth. Well, it's going to be hard to tell. I'm going to have to check his hotel room next time we travel.
Jevy, you actually might need to go back and listen to your own work here because it was hard to recap. We've got to keep moving, but mate, what Tom Green just did was electric. He come on and just had a few fired back at Tobes. He's got a bit of dirt on Toby and he released it on the pod. Now it's time for our Inglewood coffee roast, but this week, boys, instead of roasting someone, we're going to talk about someone that we'd love to have a coffee with right now. And Toby, you're going to kick it off. So it's the Inglewood coffee roast. Who would you like to have a coffee with right now?
Oh, the great Muhammad Ali would be pretty special, I would have thought. A big character in history. I love my boxing. He was well before our time, but he was an amazing athlete, but then what he did outside of that as well was very special, and someone that will be remembered in history for a long time. So it was out of him and Mike Tyson, and I think Mike's still half a chance, so I definitely can't get Muhammad Ali, so it would have to be him.
And is that a theme, or that's just the first one that comes to mind?
Nah, that's the first one. Yeah,
I thought Mike was your man.
Yeah, he is, but it's like it's still potentially one day I might see him in Vegas. Just hey Mike, can I have a photo and maybe a cup of coffee? Whereas Muhammad Ali, not possible.
Exactly right. Just on Mike Tyson. Have you seen that clip of him and Hasbulla where he's tickling him and he thinks it's a little kid?
Yeah, he's good, Mike. He's good.
He thought Hasbulla was a little kid. That was one of my favourite things. Now, Jevy, if you could have a coffee with anyone, you can choose to have a coffee with living or dead. Who would it be?
Yeah, geez, Tobes went deep with Muhammad Ali. I was just thinking, I was just going to go Dean Cox. I want to get in the trenches. I'm getting to get in the trenches and figure out what's going wrong. So I didn't think too far ahead. Maybe Mike, I don't know, Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, something like that. But nah, Dan Cox.
Oh, that is outstanding. That is very good by you, mate. That is very good. Well, as everyone knows that loves their coffee, get to inglewood.com and check out what they have. They have an end of financial year sale and you can get 50% off and more. So make sure you check them out. But gee whiz, that's amazing. We've just gone from Muhammad Ali to Dean Cox. Let's go back, Jevy. I cut you off before. Let's get you to finish off your Jevy segment. from 100K podcast, that is. Check out that. But, mate, I cut you off because Tom Green just wanted to get in the chat and we only had one link. So continue your good work, mate, and then we'll dive into a KPI construction. Stop that. Something that we need to see on the streets or in life that needs to stop happening.
I haven't got much more, but the profit propeller that you guys are talking about, I'm sure Tobes will agree. You and Mickey Walsh should probably play a game of back pocket for these clubs. You're costing 20 grand, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd love to see it, mate. I'd love to see it.
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking that, but then I watched a video online of Guy Sebastian and he put the boots on. I don't know whether it was a charity game or he's doing the same thing, and his Achilles went pop. And I'm telling you, boys, life's hard enough as it is. I don't want to be limping around the streets for another 9 to 12 months. So I don't think I've got that in me. I need to do a training block before I put the boots on. I haven't changed direction for 3 years.
Head down to a Thursday night dinner, get up, do the fines with Wal. Get the boys to send you in a couple of fines and you can get up and do your comedy.
Yeah, that'd be good, actually. You'd be good at that.
I don't mind that. I think that's what's going to happen, and we're both going to be wearing the Fogs full kit and footy boots. Righto, it's time for our KPI construction. Stop that. It's time to just tell everyone what you're sick of seeing. It's something you just want to see stop happening. I'll start us off. It goes out to all confectionery companies. If you're going to create a lolly or anything that tastes really nice, I just think the green colours are pooch. So I'm saying to all the confectionery companies, stop that with the green lollies. I reckon they taste horrific. They're a waste of space in the lolly bag. And I don't know, I just want to get your thoughts on green lollies, boys.
Well, you are a big lolly man, mate. I think you and Xavier O'Halloran, probably eat the most that I've ever seen. Xavier's had to cut back now that he's got a girlfriend and he's trying to, get his body in order. But you did. I was a chocolate man when I lived with you, and you were lollies. You just punch them away all night. I'd have a bit of chocolate with my cup of tea. But so I agree with you though. They're not great. They're not great. Lollies for me are just a daytime thing, but you seem to go them after dinner.
Yeah, after dinner kills you because then the sugar hit and then you can't sleep. Jev, green lollies?
They're all right.
Jevy's still thinking about having a coffee with Dean Cox. Righto, what do you boys got?
Sunday night footy in Perth. I had to stay up till 10 o'clock on a school night to see Jez kick 4 in the last quarter last night. I know it's a national code, but just put him on a little earlier. It was so late last night to watch him kick his 4th. I wanted to go to bed, so it's Sunday nighttime footy in Perth is a no.
What do you say, Jev?
Stop that.
That's very good. Yeah, that was late, wasn't it? 7. I didn't mind the late game, but
They had the public holiday the next day, so I think that's why.
Oh, there you go. I would have loved a 6:30, but yeah, maybe give WA what they want. I forget I used to live over there. When you live in WA, you think everything's on WA time. They don't really care about the eastern states. So yeah, it was late. It certainly was. And geez, Jezza just dominating 4 in about 4 minutes, mind you, Jev.
It was unbelievable.
I've got one more KPI construction. Stop that, boys. This is, I don't, as I said, we do this organically for KPI construction, and I've got a couple. I don't know why, but are you boys, do you have the popcorn, Cobb's popcorn? Have you ever had them?
Not heaps.
Well, they got the salt and vinegar range, and they are a limited edition.
Yeah.
And
the
they
green
are,
packet.
Mate, they're as good as it gets, the salt and vinegar Cobb's packet. And they don't have any. It's a limited edition. It's always sold out. On the shelf, sold out. I bought 20 packets once, and I've run out because they're a great snack. They're a healthy snack. But Cobb's need a little bit of a hit up. So Cobb's, stop that producing all these other pooch flavours and not producing the best, which is salt and vinegar. Sorry, boys, I'm on one today. But
maybe just send them an email and say, can you send a pallet through?
Yeah, I actually might. If Cobbs are listening, anyone that works at Cobbs, I shouldn't say they're huge. All your flavours are amazing, but salt and vinegar are world class. They're your best. I'd love to see how much revenue you get from salt and vinegar versus these other ones and why you're cutting them off on the shelves. Oh, boy. Anyway, let's keep moving. But I tell you what's exciting. The NBA Finals is there. 2 teams that have never won it. As we know, the NBA playoffs have kicked off, and there is no better time to check out our PointsBet app. Our friends there, they have the same game multis flowing. You got the NBA Bet Tracker, single markets, whatever you want. I love me 3-point market, boys. But it's been an exciting NBA Finals so far. And I thought Halliburton, have you seen a moment like Halliburton where he should have won MVP, Jevy, and he just, he almost rolled up. He's doing these ones, and then they've read out Siakam. Did you see that?
Yeah, didn't Clinton Jones do that in the waffle one day? Thought he got best on, went and got the medal, and it wasn't him, so he had to give it back and get off the stage.
I don't know.
That's good.
That is very good. I have a story actually similar to that. I remember local football granny. I reckon I had 40 and kick 4, and the boys were chanting my name out, and I didn't get best on. It was fucking awkward. I tell you what, boys. Everyone was saying you're a Rob, but we won the granny. I couldn't give a stuff, but I know exactly how Halliburton feels, boys. I know how he feels. Anyway, we keep moving through. Just a quick tip on the NBA Finals. It'll start Friday. And as we know at PointsBet, who are built differently, you can get on there and have a little same gamer for our Punters Club, Tobes. What are you thinking? Have you got are you leaning anywhere?
Yeah, OKC 4-2, mate. Hopefully game 7, but I think they win 4-2.
Well, I like that. Jevy?
Yeah, I'm thinking OKC, but I hope the Pacers run 1,000,000 miles an hour at them like they did the Knicks game 6, and maybe they can do something. It's exciting.
It will be exciting. I've seen OKC's list management. It's some of the best you'll ever see. They are going to be unbelievable for the next 10 to 15 years. So maybe we want to see Pacers win because it's going to be hard to beat OKC with all their draft capital coming up. Now, let's jump codes. We just spoke NBA. Looking forward to seeing what everyone in the comment thinks about the NBA Finals as well. But just state of origin before we get back to AFL and close the show. Game 1, quick thoughts, boys. Jevy, you did a little video online. You copped a bit of abuse for that one. The snore fest, you called it.
Yeah, state of overrated. I just don't rate it that much as a sport. I just think it's a bit boring. I think they just run straight, tackle each other, and run it straight again. Doesn't do anything for me. So we'll hear Tobes on this one.
No, I don't mind it as a sport, but I think it definitely wasn't the best Origin game I've ever watched. I think that game 3 last year, when the first 10 minutes was about 7 CTE concussions, it wasn't like that, and that's not great to watch either. But it just sort of, I don't know, it felt like it lacked a little bit of feeling. But I think New South Wales are too good. They'll just they're going to win the next couple of series. I reckon it's Queensland got a bit of work to do to catch up.
Very well said. I love the different opinions. Now, let's get back to footy as we close the show. Boys, it's been elite. Jevy, I'm loving your work. Tobes, I'm loving your energy. And to get a little bit of dirt back from Tommy Green, who's been on the program before, that could be a regular, just getting a little bit of mail from the inside the locker room there. Let's close it out. It's a big game this weekend against Port. You're playing in Canberra, I believe. It'll be pretty cold. Our man Rory Atkins is running around.
Yeah.
Make sure you Can you make sure you give the rat just a little cheeky one for me there, Tobes?
Yeah, I'll say hello to him if I run past him for sure.
And what does hello mean for the TFG?
Oh, it's usually just a little sack tap, something like that.
And Jevy, what would you love to see from the Giants? The Giants, they've been a bit hot and cold. We've got the skipper here, but when they turn it on, they are as good as anyone in the comp. What do you expect from TFG and the boys this weekend?
Yeah, well, we saw Jez kick 7 on Port Adelaide. I reckon Jesse Hogan's got an 8 or 9 in him. Or Cal Brown, Cadman, and Hogues combined for about 14, I reckon. It could be huge.
What about our man right next to you?
He'll pop in. He'll jump in. We were speaking about he kicked 1 goal 5 last time, so let's turn that to 5 goals 1, and then it's a big day.
It is a big day. And
those boys kick 14 between them, I'm happy, mate. So hopefully we can get somewhere close to that.
Just speaking of big, I've noticed a big shiner, Tobes. I forgot to ask you that one. Who got you there on the left eye?
Oh, it's the footy. The footy scraped my eye. I couldn't see for about 2 minutes. I was running around. I couldn't actually find the footy. So, no, it's fine. It was just a scratch. It was just a genuine nick on the eye. It was good.
That's good, Jevy. Don't be using that this weekend, telling your coach why you didn't come up with much of the ball. You got the little scrape of the ball and couldn't see.
That's a good excuse. I haven't heard that one before.
Oh, boys, I've loved this. Well, Tobes, all the best this week against Port. Keep up the good work, mate. As you said, a win's a win. And we'll wrap our arms around Wardy down here in Melbourne. And, big shout-out to the Ward family. And to all you boys that got it done for him. That would be one of the best wins once you reflect, just to see the team respond like they did, mate. It was enormous. And, looking forward to seeing what you do this week. And Jevy, thank you so much for joining the program, mate. Loving your energy. The feedback's been good. Number 1 rated podcast this was last week for the TFG podcast. So, mate, you are injecting pace, energy, and viewers.
I hope so. I appreciate it, boys. Thanks for having me on. Good luck this week, Tobes. I'm excited.
Thanks, lads. No, appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. And a big shout out to our sponsors, KPI Construction, PointsBet, and Inglewood Coffee Roasters. Without your support, we wouldn't be here. To everyone else that watches, thank you. It's been a great show. If you're loving it, get in the comments on YouTube. We love comments because we can see what you're loving and we can get more of it. We'll see you same time next week right here on Oz American Aces. Cheers.
You need your bodyguard to be quick. And guys, is as quick as they come. Still, he's not as quick as a PointsBet app where I can place my same game multi before he's had a chance to even... We'll call that a draw.
It's never been quicker to piece together an NBA same-game multi with PointsBet.
Memories.
PointsBet. Built different. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.